A bridge, tied to a pole and carried by hunters across their shoulders, patches of their skin purpling with effort. It was brought snarling through the woods, snapping chunks from the air, and hauled to the river thrashing. Bristling, they stretched it from one bank to the other. With ropes, they forced its head into wild garlic and dragged its legs back into nettles. In brittle clumps, they wiped their hands. At their heels, as they left, rain followed, panting.
Hello.
Hi. Every morning I practice my scales. Thank you.
I'm Johnny Bean and I'm a freelance photographer and Morecambe resident, having moved here from Lancaster in 2014. Lockdown for me back in early 2020 wasn't a very creative period, and for months I just couldn't take any photographs at all. The desire just wasn't there, and some of the only trips I was making outdoors were to put the rubbish bins and the recycling out. I noticed the rubbish in the back alleyway was building up behind the house, and I started to message Lancaster City Council about getting it removed. It felt like during lockdown people had less opportunity or means to dispose of their unwanted waste, and the local recycling depot required you to register online before making a trip, and then one type of waste at a time could be taken. So it felt like it wasn't surprising people were fly tipping their waste more than before. But as the weeks went by, I started to take more interest in the items that were being left, and I noticed how they moved position from day to day, sometimes disappearing and then returning a few days later. They began to take on a character and a life of their own, and a kind of narrative of lockdown was emerging, and I started to record the story of the alley in a series of ongoing Instagram posts, hashtagged Adventures in the Alley.
For about the last 20 years, I've visited camera clubs in the northwest giving talks about my photographs. When I'm asked what subjects I'm interested in pointing my camera at, I always answer, ones that don't move, or answer back. Lockdown limited the areas I could visit with my camera, so in those first few months I spent a lot of time taking pictures of things in the garden, mostly flowers. They don't move as quickly as insects or birds.
I've been working with driftwood, sea glass and pebbles found on the beaches in Morecambe Bay for about 6 years, turning the sea treasure into unique and often quirky creations. During lockdown, however, I decided, as there was no craft fairs, I'd take the time to learn a new skill of needle felting. It's a very different medium to work with, but quite addictive. I'm now having fun working out how I can incorporate my needle felted creations with driftwood. The toadstools in the dome was one of the first pieces I made. This is my third exhibition at the Exchange, and I've also run a driftwood workshop in the past.
Hi, this is Ginny Koppenhol, and my piece is called discombobulation. It's a word that I have used a lot in lockdown. I just really like it, and I think it's an underused word. It's funny because we've started to use lots of words in lockdown that we've probably never used before, like furlough and social distancing, but yeah, discombobulation, that's the one for me. It just describes my feeling about various points of this whole year really well, and this image represents that brilliantly. I went down to a spot on the prom near Hess Bank, just as you enter Morecambe, where I often go to watch the sunset, and I took some prisms with me that I just got for my birthday. And this was on the 20th of March 2020. And there were, we pretty much knew we were going to head into a lockdown at that point. And then 3 days later, it started. So the very first lockdown. So I was very aware that this could be one of my last times for a while that I could just come out with my camera. And I was playing with the prisms and just feeling a bit sad and discombobulated. And yeah, I got a series of images that I really liked. They were quite fragmented, and but they represented a place that I loved and I knew I'd miss. As it happened in lockdown, we spent a lot of time on little walks around the coast, but not much time on the prom, so I did miss that particular area. So yeah, you can see the cars on the left-hand side, maybe heading home for the last time in weeks and weeks, who knows, and then a bit of the natural beauty of our bay. Anyway, that's probably a good summary, so I'll leave it there.
Hi, my name's Hazel. Here's a poem by Robert Frost to accompany my painting. Tree at my window, window tree. My sash is lowered when night comes on, but let there never be curtain drawn between you and me. Vague dream head lifted out of the ground, and thing next most diffuse to cloud. Not all your light tongues talking aloud could be profound. But tree, I've seen you taken and tossed, and even if you have seen me when I slept, you have seen me when I was taken and swept and all but lost. That day she put our heads together. Fate had her imagination about her. Your head so much concerned with outer, mine with inner weather.
Hi, my name is Becca, and I've been asked to give a little bit of an intro about myself or the painting that I'm putting into the exhibition. So I'd just like to start by saying I'm not an artist, but I do find that being creative is a response that I have quite a lot to any challenging situations, and also it's a way of something constructive coming out of maybe things that aren't so positive. In the past I've done things like write songs and developed my garden, done embroidery, dabbled a little bit with doing charcoal drawings. But this is the first time I've actually put paint onto a bit of board. Now, the image itself, the two silhouettes are both images taken from photographs of my mum. One was when she was a teenager, and one was when she was a woman in her 50s. And I think that in the first lockdown, with what was going on, probably part of me really wanted my mum close, so my mum was in my mind a lot. And because she passed away in 2014, I think that's why she was important for me to kind of use those images of her in my painting. It's not for sale. It's an expression of where I was in that moment, and it did give me comfort going through the process. So it's the process that was creating something positive out of maybe a negative situation that helps. And I would say to anybody, you don't have to be an artist to create positive things for yourself. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Vaz, an artist and musician from North Yorkshire, currently based in Lancaster. I'm inspired by the DIY ethos, and I use hand-painted typography, rhyme, rhythm and images to advocate for social change and to try and encourage people to take action. Through my art, I explore the role of art as protest and as part of community-led action. And I'm a strong believer that art and craft are synonymous with personal and political power. In the middle of the first national lockdown, 2020, I went out for a smoke in the backyard in the middle of the night and I wrote the following note, which led on to me painting this. Leaning on the wall, I look up at the stars and memories come flooding back of the night spent gazing up at the same sky. The whispered conversations with friends long into the night, the dreaming and the scheming, uncertain futures in an unexplored world. The smell of charcoal, tinnies lying discarded by a fire, the zipper tents and tripping over tent pegs, a loud shh holding in the belly laughter, a sighting of a shooting star. Blink and you'll miss it.
Last October, a few of us started learning sign writing, and I suppose lockdown's given me the chance to practice them skills. It definitely is a skill-based discipline that you just have to keep working out. It's very therapeutic, and yeah, you can put some music on and just forget about your troubles, and it's very rewarding. It can be very, very difficult as well, and testing of patience for sure, but I think that's a good thing. You always get into a therapeutic, meditative state. But this piece, Relax, was just kind of it does actually defy quite a number of signwriting principles, but actually for me it brings a lot of things that I love together. So design, typography, the signwriting craft, materials, use of found bit of OSB is probably not something that a traditional signwriter would look fondly on. They usually would go for a very high glossy surface, such as the side of a van or coach or car, vehicle, or a sign. But yeah, it's not about that for me.
Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Folded up in the window, peeling layers of day and time away with eyes, she became a well-upholstered mannequin, quarantined in skin and walls. The afternoon moved in tones. Slabs of early evening fell under the clinking of drummed nails. Stubborn smudges of humans walked like watercolours melting in the rain, splash prisms framed in the window. Baritone sighs leaked thick and glutinous, and the sense of endlessness wrapped tight around shoulders. Day retreated, and night steeped in.
Hi, I'm Rosie. I'm a local artist obsessed with mixed media, collage and sewing pattern overlays, most especially when created on bits of old rubbish, like this old tabletop I found discarded on Yorkshire Street in the West End. It was covered in pigeon poo at the time. This artwork is called Trampolining Swedish Princess. I found a picture of her in a magazine, but I really liked the way she was jumping mid-air. She seemed appropriate to me, especially now. I think that life shrinks or expands in proportion to our courage. Lots of love to everybody.
Hello, my name is Jacob Theobald. I'm a short little man of 27 years old. Pencils I sharpen and pens I do hold, and the things that I draw are comedy gold. Take this little fella, the bad nut, who like most in these times is stuck in a rut. It will make some giggle, while others may tut. I'm just having a laugh because the pubs are all shut. But in all seriousness, the Exchange creative community are run by fantastic people who give many an opportunity and help make the West End into a place of creativity. Cheers to them for all they do. The exhibition will be a success. I say this with certainty. Thank you.
Velvet Tulips is one of my first finished framed pictures in watercolour, and now I continue my study in that form.
So for me, the seas and the view Morecambe Bay is somewhere that makes me feel at home. You know, when you're kind of feeling overwhelmed or sad or trapped, especially like in lockdown, you can walk along, the view's different. You feel like you've travelled somewhere. It's and your problems don't feel as big anymore. They're just the vast nothingness. So I kind of